Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Movie City podcast. Before we begin, don't forget to join our Discord server and follow us on all of our social media. I am Alex.
I'm John.
I'm Alexis.
I'm George.
I am Sakis.
Today's episode, we decided to talk about another Oscar winning film and actually our first musical, 2016's La La Land. Written and directed by Damien Chazelle, starring Ryan Gosling, Emma Stone, John Legend, Jessica Rothe, and Rosemarie DeWitt. While navigating their careers in Los Angeles, a pianist and an actress fall in love while attempting to reconcile their aspirations for the future. The film won 6 Academy Awards in 2017: Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role, Best Directing, Best Achievement in Cinematography, Best Original Score, Best Original Song, and Best Achievement in Production Design. And it actually won half Best Movie of the Year. If you know, you know. Beware that there are spoilers. So, I'm not gonna ask you what did you think about the movie because I wanted to start by saying a few things. Um, I really liked the movie the first time I saw it. And then I saw it last night and I actually had mixed feelings about it. Like, I still think it's a great movie, but I have some issues that I didn't find when I first watched it on theaters back in 2017. So, something I wanted to point out before we get into more details is that it's not a movie separated into three acts. I saw people online talking about the movie being 6 acts, but I think it's actually 5 acts. You know, the first being from the beginning towards the part that they start dating. Uh, from the part that they start dating, second act, throughout the dancing sequence, which there is like an ending where there's this classic circle ending which closes to the heads, and then there is from this point the summer towards the point where Seb starts to work with Keith. From that point, fourth act when they're fighting, and fifth act the 5 years later point. I found that really interesting. So doing a movie in 5 acts is really risky. It can be a total failure, but here it works really well about the characters. There are certain points, certain messages in every act, and it rounds up to mostly an almost perfect conclusion. I really like the first act and the second act, and I really like the fifth act. I have mostly my problems are in the third and in the fourth, but we will get into more details later. I wanted to hear a little bit about your opinions, guys. What did you generally think about the movie? Did you like it or not?
Yeah, for me in general it was okay. Didn't blow me away. But for me the first 20 minutes, 30 or so were the most boring minutes of the entire movie because in the beginning the songs were non-stop. I thought that there wasn't even a plot. They just sang and danced everywhere, and it was excessive, and it was a bit cringy in the beginning, but as it went on, it progressed, and for me it got a lot better by the end. And in the middle of the movie, it was the best of it, I think, for me.
So you didn't like it starts and it has like 5 minutes or so with the first song, and that's where you get bored, right?
Yeah, in the first 5 minutes, I was like,
Okay, okay, yeah.
the characters weren't introduced yet, and there was just a traffic jam, and all the drivers got out and danced. And later, the plot didn't really progress because we focused mainly on Mia. She did her thing, and after that, we focused on Seb, and then we got to the point when they meet again, and we left from that, and I didn't enjoy that.
Would you have preferred to watch them both just like cutting to each other and not because in the like first act you see their lives separately, like from the moment in the car.
Yeah,
And
I
yeah,
think it should be a bit more parallel how they progressed, and I think that in the first minutes the songs should have been a lot less for me.
okay.
Yeah,
Um,
I have to agree with that. I'm not a huge musical fan, so I may be a bit biased here. But yeah, the first 5 minutes for me were a nightmare. I couldn't stand this whole thing. It was way too much, and I think it was. That's why I don't like musicals, because I think sometimes, in my point of view, it's not realistic. And yeah, I disagree with, like, instead of talking, singing. Like, yeah, so the first 5 minutes were really bad, in my opinion. As the movie progressed, though, I started to like it a bit more, but still, since it was a musical, I wasn't a huge fan.
And to be honest, if the film wasn't a musical and it was an, you know, a regular movie, I would honestly prefer it more. I enjoy it more actually,
Yeah, I agree with
because
you.
I think the whole situation with the songs, it made it too clingy.
all right.
Like, am I the only one that really enjoyed the music and that?
That's what I was about to say. I'm a huge musical fan. I love musicals. Like
Yeah.
I really, really like them. I don't care about what you said. Okay, I see your point of view, but I don't care about being realistic or something. I want to feel the characters, and songs are one of the most expressive ways in script writing to express emotions and situations and to show a character. So I really like musical. Although I need to point out that this is not a regular musical. It we will get into that later because it's a like a tribute to older cinema, like 50s and 60s. It's a tribute to that era, and that shows from the musical title that they chose to follow because it's mostly, the most classic musical, like one of the most classic musicals of all time is Mary Poppins, and it has a lot of similarities and a lot of tributes, and you can see the parallels. Like there are songs in the movie with no lyrics, just score and people dancing in a beautiful scenery, which makes it like it's a type of thing which mostly is not used to nowadays musicals. I personally prefer what we have now, like the style that it was mostly established throughout the 90s with most Disney musicals and other companies. But yeah, it's an entire different way. I prefer now the thing that we have now, but I like what they did here. And I really enjoy big, loud dancing sequence with no cuts to the camera, like the one that the movie begins with in the cars. It gets you to the movie. You want to hear more music. You want to feel the characters. You want to. Uh, you have this emotion that just gets to you, and you want to hear more music. And of course, the score is beautiful. For me personally, I really enjoy it. Except the jazz parts. I'm not a
I
huge fan of jazz.
am the complete opposite of what you said about the score. I was a huge fan of the jazz part. I didn't like the singing part, but I want to stay on something else. I wanted to ask you, Joel, like, did you, at the beginning of the movie, like at the first 5 6 minutes, I thought that this movie was happening, like, it was my first time seeing the movie, and I thought the movie was like happening in 1980s or something like that, because like of the car that Sebastian was driving, because of the cinema, because of everything. But then I saw the iPhone, I saw the Prius. That changed my mind. What do you think about that? Did you also think that at the beginning?
It's on
Yeah,
purpose.
I
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's
also
a
thought
tribute
so.
thing. They want to make a tribute to older cinema and the 1960s musical like Mary Poppins.
Yeah,
Yeah,
They do it on purpose.
yeah, I can see that. That's why I'm asking if anyone else, like, So what I saw there, because like I
I,
think most of the
I knew
movie,
when the movie was taking place before I watched it the first time, so
I
I
didn't
can't
know.
relate to you. Sorry.
Um, but I have to say that Sebastian was like the person that was in love with the past. If you think about it, he was a huge fan of jazz. He was driving an old car. He had like these antiques in his house, these like chairs and stuff or whatever he had. Yeah,
I don't see Sebastian in such a way. I think that he just loved the jazz and he wasn't happy about it being forgotten. And the things he had were the things that popular singers and artists used during the golden age of jazz. And I
yeah,
think he just want to bring back old jazz.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think that he was in love with the past that, and he wanted to like find a way so he could make everyone love jazz again. Yeah, that's why I said he was in love with the past.
Maybe.
And also that's the reason why he at first he hesitated accepting the offer from his friend Keith. That was remember
Yeah, that was his name.
because he didn't want to live in the past, do the traditional jazz. He wanted to elevate uh, this kind of music, with electric beats, as we see later on.
Something I wanted to point out because I said something earlier that may be paraphrased. I said I didn't like the jazz parts, but Mia and Sebastian's theme, the one that Sebastian plays the piano and they, it's kind of symbolized the relationship. I like that one.
Which one are you talking about? The
Uh,
City of
It's the
Stars?
one that no, this is a song into the musical context. I'm talking about the score that Sebastian plays the piano. Dun, 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 dun. The one that when they first meet, the one that he plays, and it sounds later when he goes to see him.
Oh yeah, the one at the
It's the
restaurant.
one they play. It's the relationship theme.
Yeah.
Even the song title is Mia and Sebastian's theme. If you heard it on Spotify, also go listen to the soundtrack. It's amazing. To Spotify. I mean, outside of the music of the movie context.
Also, a cool thing I saw in the movie, the piano in the restaurant Sebastian is playing is a Steinway, the same kind of piano that Doug was playing in the Green Book
Yeah, it
coverage.
Oh,
was. What's the name of the pianos?
Steinway,
Something like
I know
that.
how
Yeah,
yeah. I
it was the
didn't notice
same
that.
one. Yeah, I noticed that as well.
If you want to hear what we think about Green Book, you can check out that podcast episode. So something I wanted to point out, which I found really interesting detail, is that in the second song, "Someone in the Crowd," the one Mia has with her friends, there is a scene which Mia is at the bar and everyone was dancing in a slow mo, and Mia is at a regular speed. I thought it was like a nod that Mia is not noticed. Like they have their own rhythm, their own ways, and Mia just walks through them without being noticed, which is, it's kind of her theme, her side story, that she wants to be noticed, she wants to be discovered and be a great actress, but she can't do it because nobody's focusing on her and hiring her to a movie. Really nice detail. If it's that's the way I see it at least.
I think that for me the scene was just her not finding the special someone in the crowd, as the song said, and that's just it. And I think it's just her going in the party in a stereotypical way, trying to find the one, that that she will fall in love with, but she can't find him, and she just is not mad, just upset about it, and just leaves.
Previously, you said that you didn't like the fact that we saw them from not different point of view. We focused on Mia, and then the scenery changed. Then we focused on Sebastian, and then the two stories like combined. I like that personally. I like that there is a moment that they share a very little one when when they see each other at the cars, and then we follow Mia, and then Mia hears the music, follows, and just goes to the bar, and then we go back. We see Sebastian, and we follow him going to the bar to the moment they met. They actually met. Okay, they've seen each other before, but this is the moment they met. I really like that. I thought it was clever.
Like,
Does anyone else?
I just didn't really like that.
Okay, okay, okay.
And I think it's because it had many musicals in between.
Okay,
I
Many
agree.
music parts.
Yeah, I agree with that. I wasn't a huge fan as well.
all right. Um, then there is something else I want to point out. You know the scene that Mia walks and sings, and there is a lighting like she's on a theater stage, and then they do the same thing with Sebastian when he plays the piano at the restaurant with J.K. Simmons, which was amazing. I love that J.K. Simmons was just there to be J.K. Simmons, and uh, that was a nice detail. Like it shows the theatric way that they played back then, because I think it all comes down to what I said earlier, to the movie being a tribute to older cinema, and it has that feeling because back then they were acting like it was theater, like just acting like you would act in a theater, but in front of a camera, and they're really and they're doing that special thing with the lighting, and it's really beautiful. Another scene I really liked is there is a after they met in the second act when Sebastian plays with another band just to get some money, and Mia just to like trigger him, goes there and asks for a song that he knew that he wouldn't like playing. And I felt like this was a really nice way to meet the character, so that she has like kind of a randomness, kind of a weird way to express herself and communicate with him. But it's more of a way for the audience to meet her, to know who she is, and a really nice small character moment. And then the movie goes on to the main song that everyone walks out of the theater remembering because it's in every poster. A Lovely Night. I want to comment on that. I really liked it.
Wait. Before you
Yeah,
do,
sorry.
I think that when Mia just told him to play Iran, it wasn't something, I don't know, out of place, because I think everybody most of the time when they think they love someone, or they do things that they do things to piss them off anyway. It isn't something specific she did. She just did that because she liked him.
I mean, they only met like 2 or 3 times before that. I don't think he liked him that much, but I think she was interested in him because she only saw him like a few times, and she wanted to learn a bit more about this mysterious man that keeps uh, getting in her way, and she sees him everywhere.
Yeah, maybe. It's just the progress of them loving each other.
Yeah.
I think they didn't have feelings for each other at first, as you mentioned. I think they started catching feelings for each other when they like had that dance in the mountain, on top of the mountain. that night. You remember, like, which scene I'm talking about? Like the one that they said, like, something about the night, such a
That's a
A
beautiful
lovely
waste
night.
of a
night.
lovely night. A
Yeah,
waste of a
yeah, this one.
lovely night.
Amazing scene for me personally. I want to talk about it, but no, I want to talk about it now. It's a real in. We're not going to talk about the picture and the general scenery of the movie just yet, but this scene is worth mentioning because when they say it's a beautiful night, a lovely night, I think that the audience can feel it because the lighting and the Hollywood scenery, it's amazing. I mean, like it's a really beautiful place to have such a scene because it's high up. You can see the Hollywood and the how not houses, the buildings from down the hill. And the music, I really like it. It has a lot of meaningful ways through the lyrics to show the characters and kind of their way that they they don't want to. They have some kind of feelings for each other, but they don't want to express them. But they have the feelings, and it's a nice way to show it through the song. And it's a song split it into two parts. There is the beginning, which is purely lyrics and music, and then it's dancing and amazing choreography with just score and the scenery that I mentioned, which becomes also the poster of the movie, and it's like an iconic thing, and I think it's rightfully an iconic scene because it's beautiful.
Yeah, this scene is beautiful. Like the picture behind, like the sunset is like beautiful. Like that purple color stands out the most, I think. Yeah, I really like that scene. And besides the image, as you said, I really liked. It was one of the first times that I actually liked something from the movie. And I think it was the part in which like Sebastian walked Mia all the way up to the mountain to her car, and then he like then Mia asked him if he wants a ride, and then he said no, no, I'm like 2 feet above, like something like that. I'm very close. Um, so yeah, and then he went back, and his car was parked outside of the like home of the party. And yeah, I think at the beginning I thought that Sebastian didn't want Mia to give him a ride because he would feel embarrassed because of his car. But then throughout the movie, yeah, I didn't think that was true. But at the beginning, that was like what I got from this scene.
I mean, the scene even had Ryan Gosling tap dancing, so I think it was amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
That was the best thing about this. The music too,
Ryan
but I think
Gosling
Ryan
in
Gosling tap
general.
dancing.
And I think that the Sebastian wouldn't be embarrassed of his car. He likes the car. He likes old school stuff, and I don't think he would be embarrassed getting her in to ride with him.
I don't know. That's just what I got at the beginning when he didn't want her to give him a ride. Yeah, but I don't know. Probably another like since I watched the movie now, like you could say that he did that because he didn't want to show her that he had feelings for her. So he said, "No, I'm like my car is right here, so yeah, don't worry about it." He don't want to show her that he walked all the way up, but his car was like outside the party. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that he was maybe catching feelings for her, and he was afraid, so he didn't want to spend any more time with her, and so he left.
I don't know if he started to catch feelings. I think he would love to spend more time with her. And I don't think he would just have left.
I mean, the next day he basically found where she worked at.
Yeah,
He
and
stormed in. Yeah, he stormed in in Hollywood. I mean,
it was in
Yeah, he
Hollywood.
didn't
It
want
was
to hide his feelings. He
pu-
just
push.
was out and about trying to show her that.
Another thing I wanted to mention is that I get a very strong feeling from Sebastian that he loves jazz. There are many movies that say that the character loves something and they don't show it. And doing that wrong is a combination of multiple things. Like it could go wrong script wise and acting wise. But here is a perfect combination of both because both the scenario and Ryan Gosling's acting convince me that this guy loves what he's doing. He's passionate about it. And the scene that I felt that is when Mia tells him that she doesn't like jazz. A very nice touch because in like a previous scene, Sebastian says that he wouldn't date someone that doesn't like jazz. And when Mia tells him that, she takes he takes her to like a jazz club and explaining to her. And I can in that scene when he's passionate about it and telling her all about jazz, I see that he loves what he's doing. It's a very human thing because when somebody loves something that much, as Sebastian shows that he loves jazz, he would do that. It's a perfect character moment, and I really like that. And again, both script wise and acting wise, Ryan Gosling, I give it to him. Amazing, nailed it. There is another a small detail into the script that I really liked, and it's actually perfect for the times we're living in. There is a moment where Mia and her current boyfriend, like at the mid second act, go to a dinner with some friends of
his brother. It was his brother. Yeah.
his brother. Sorry, yeah,
Hmm.
and that couple they appear to be movie fans, like they enjoy movies, and they say that they got a home theater and they don't like normal movie theaters. And the movie and mostly the directing chooses to show them like kind of snobs, and I really like that because, of course, I personally, that's my personal opinion. Everyone can have their own take on that. I think it's really stupid to cancel movie theaters. Not in the situation we're living. Like, don't get mad at me. In general, outside of a pandemic, and canceling movie theaters for home entertainment, as good as home entertainment could get with 4K and home theaters and all that stuff, it could never replace the feeling and the emotion that a normal theater can give you. And it was an amazing subtle way to say that, which I really liked. They even say they found the movie theaters dirty, which I get, but they say that they're loud. In general, that's what I got from that scene. That was the vibe I get, and I agree on that because again, it's a movie about movies, a movie Inception without being Inception.
I just think it was a way to show that Mia didn't really have a connection with her boyfriend or fiance, whatever he was, and she had better chemistry and connection with Sebastian because she heard that and realized she doesn't fit in there. She just rushed to Sebastian in the movie theater.
Yeah, but I agree with that, but that's like the surface level. In a secondary level, I think that's what they were going for in that particular line. But it's mostly a line.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Another nice symbolism that I noticed in the movie is in the scene that Mia is not going to the date with Sebastian, with being with her boyfriend at the and his brother, and she runs, and the movie has already begun, and she walks into the center of the screen, and the projector that shows the movie to the screen because it's a movie theater. Uh, it's like lighting the same way we said it was earlier, but like we're viewing it from Mia's point of view, like a theater is watching her. It's foreshadowing the moment that Mia is gonna have her own play at the theater, with her being at the stage with the light showing upon her. Because in every other scene, they do that multiple times, both with Sebastian and Mia. We view it from the audience point of view. This is the only moment where we view it from the actor's point of view, and it's a subtle way to say that in acting and in the theater, if that being cinema or normal theater, it has that feeling, both the audience and the actors and the creators, the artist point of views. Two separate point of views, all that from a small frame. That's magnificent cinematography. So then is City of Stars, the whole music sequence, which is mostly a score with them dancing. And that's where I have a little bit of a problem. That scene lasted like 3 to 4 minutes more than it should have been. It's a long one. It takes time, a lot of time, and it kind of and it's like a moment which I felt it could have been a little bit more rushed in order to see the relationship, because I have a part missing from the movie. Then the second act ends, and it's official that Mia and Sebastian are in a relationship. And before it goes to them fighting and them is breaking up, they seem to really like each other, being in love. But the audience doesn't get that, and it's a small. It's a part of the movie that I have a problem with.
Wait,
It
what do
should
you
have been.
mean? I think it's very clear that they are in love. Like, she left her boyfriend to go with Sebastian to the movies. And then they did all the things like in the observatory. I think that's like after that we all knew that they were in love. Like, I don't get what you're saying. Like that they weren't in love when they like when the second you didn't understand like how they got into like loving each other and stuff. Yeah, I don't agree with that.
I get the beginning of the relationship. I didn't see the relationship evolve. They
You
jumped
did.
from the point that they went to a date and they had chemistry in the dancing scene. They didn't have talking chemistry. They had the dancing and emotional chemistry. That's okay with me. I didn't see the evolvement to love,
No, what do you
because there
mean?
there is a gray line there. There is a point. It's from point A, start dating, to point C, love each
That's a
other. There
relationship.
is there should be a point B.
No, that's how a relationship works. At the beginning, you are good with a person that you like are in love with and you have a relationship with. But after a while, you start like arguing and stuff, and that's what happened here. Sebastian followed his dream, and then that like created a gap between Sebastian and Mia. What did you want to see? Like nothing else happened. They were in love, and then it was the first time that something happened between them.
I get what you're saying. It convinced you, but it just wasn't for it wasn't that good for me. It should have been involvement. It should have been more time to the relationship because before it starts being love and before it starts falling apart.
What do you mean? Like, what involvement did you want to see? What else? Like, I disagree with that because, as I said, there is nothing else to see. They're in love, they are having good times, they're trying to succeed on their, like, job, and then a gap is created between them since Sebastian has to leave. Like, what would you like to see?
I think if you had the whole sequence with them dating, it would slow the movie and it wouldn't be good overall.
But we
Okay.
see that they fall in love in 2 days. Not even 2 days. Like, by the first night that they met, they started dancing, like, and singing and stuff. Then that was the time that they fall in love. And then after that, they were close to each other because that's a relationship. At the beginning, you have strong feelings for your lover or whatever, but after a while, things happen and you may disagree or something, like, yeah, you may argue and stuff. So you may end up breaking up. And that's what happened. I think the relationship is like one of the best movies, one of the best parts of the movie.
I agree with you. And
Okay.
for me, I agree with him, and I think you don't need to see the process because it would slow the movie down and it would just been unnecessary.
I agree. And it's realistic. I don't want to see more stuff. Like, you, it's a realistic relationship. They fall in love. It makes sense. We've seen movies in which, like, the main two characters, the protagonists, fall in love in a very weird way. Here, it was like perfect for me.
We won't agree on that, so I think we must move on. We have our opinions and point of views, as my friend Obi-Wan used to say.
Yeah,
It
don't
was
talk
a
about
tough
Star Wars, especially you. Let's move
one.
on.
Before I move on, I want to point out another small detail similar to the one with the kind of toxic couple. Mia passes by a cinema which is open and shows movies, and then passes by again by this from the same cinema, but it's she goes the other way around, and the cinema is shut down. Which, like, I like that way to say that as time moves on, uh, cinema theaters shut down, and that's kind of unfortunate. Just that.
It's not only theaters, though. As you said, it was an old theater, and nowadays, like, movie theaters are, like, amazing. Like, if you go inside, it's mind blowing sometimes. Okay, it can
Yeah.
be mind blowing. So this one specifically was an old movie theater, so I think that's why it closed. And that's not only for movie theaters; it's for everything. Like, if you can't adapt, then suddenly you have to move on.
All right. I think that's just point of views. Like
I think you didn't like
I
that you
read it
saw.
that way. You
I,
read it
I
that
think
way.
you didn't like that you saw a movie theater closing. That it hurt you from the inside. Like,
So, my cinema loving
yeah,
feelings.
I don't think you're very honest here. I think you're kind of biased, but still, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I think that's what the artist wanted to say by that scene. But okay, that's the
Yeah,
way everyone reads things and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
understands them. So, bef- going into the argument, I didn't like the argument because I thought it was kind of a cliche, having them split up. But I get that it's realistic in relationship wise, and I don't think it's bad having arguments when you're trying to make a romantic movie because that's a big part of the movie as well. Uh, but it's just not the part that I cared for. So it's a scene I get a little bit bored. Like, okay, I know that now they're going to have a fight, and they most probably are going to split up, and then something is going to happen, and they're going to get back together. I didn't predict that they're going to split up again and don't go back together, but that's another part of the movie later. I really like how they got into that argument
I
by
have
Sebastian. Oh, sorry, say yeah.
I have to say that we have different opinions about the movie. Like I totally disagree again. I get what you're saying, but I think the one of the best parts of the movie is that it's not a cliche, as you said. For me, it was the first time that I saw a musical in which, yeah, okay, it's a cliche that the characters, the protagonists, will broke up, but they don't get back together by singing on the rain and dancing and stuff. No, it was something different, and that's what I liked about that. Uh, in every musical that I've seen, there's always a scene in which it's raining, and the two protagonists are singing and dancing. So yeah, I think that was something new, especially for me. But as I've said, I'm not a huge fan of musicals, so yeah.
But I like how they got into that argument because it's another art symbolism. The fact that Sebastian, starts to doing things that he doesn't like for money and his art. He's sacrificing his art, his dream, in order to get more money. Like
No,
he's doing something he doesn't like.
I think
He's wait, give me a minute. He's sacrificing his dream to open the jazz club in order to because he heard that argument that Mia had with her mother or something uh, about if Sebastian makes money, and only when Mia leaves him to follow her dream, when they split up because of Mia wanted to follow her dream in France, that's when he understands that he needs to follow his dream.
no,
And that's when he opens the jazz club.
no. He understood that by the time they broke up for the first time. He was at the doldrums in his life during that period. He he was like alone. Um, as I saw it, he stopped playing in the music band, and then when Mia started to give up on her dream, he he realized that you don't have to just do what you like and you will succeed. Don't do it for the fame or whatever.
Different point of views once more. um,
No, but wait, do you disagree that his worst, like the worst time for Sebastian throughout the movie was when they broke up? He wasn't doing anything. He wasn't
first
playing
time or
for
the
the
second time?
second time. No, I'm
What?
talking about the first time. I'm talking about the
Oh,
first
okay.
time.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think that he wasn't playing for the band. He stopped playing music for a while, and he was feeling alone and disappointed with himself. And then, when he got the call that Mia has an audition, he started believing again on her, and that made him believe on himself as well, on his dream. So I think that the worst part for him was when they broke up for the first time.
I get what
I
you're
th-
saying. I just think that it was a cool way to show that he abandoned his dream and saying, don't give up on yourself because it doesn't seem like you can make the most money. Make Do what you want to make, and if you do it well, Mia says it, people are going to join, and you're going to make money most probably, and that's what he ends up doing. He We're never saying that he's not well at the at the end when he has the jazz club. That's what I liked. But you're not wrong. Just I keep a different thing from that scene. That's what I want to say. But since you mentioned that, the audition scene is really good. Mia's audition, I really like that scene. This is where the
Which one?
movie starts. When Mia auditions and for a role that it's based on her. You know, the actual that
So you're
scene
talking
films.
about the last edition that she had.
Yeah, yeah. Before
Yeah.
her leaving France, after they
Mm-hmm.
have a fight, after her play. That was I liked it from the directing point of view, which the lights start to go off slowly, and then there is a big light spot to her, like she's performing at a theater, and the lights go down like a theater, and there is only Mia, and she starts showing her acting and showing who she is, and that's what the producers or whoever those were, the casting managers, showed to her, and that's why they wanted her. It's like in every other audition, I don't think neither the audience like really wants to work with me. It's okay. You can see that the girl is trying, but it's in that exact moment that you feel like, oh, yes, I want to see more of her. Both casting managers and audience gets that, and that's what I was saying earlier about points of view, because it from the way the camera is placed with the cast and Mia in front at the center of the screen, it's like you're part of the audience. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you're sitting there with them, watching her.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a well directed scene that convinced me of who of why they wanted to make a movie about Mia, and it's
Yeah,
that
and
little gray line between actual performing theater and cinema.
yeah, and in general, the screen started to black out whenever there was a singing scene or they did something like they talked to themselves when they did the singing scene or the monologue she had about the story that her movie was based on.
So then we get to my favorite part of the movie, the 5 years later time jump. It starts with a reprise of Mia's coffee scene, where she goes to get coffee from the old place she was working. Really nice detail once more. And we see that Mia has married France and have children with that guy. I don't think we learned his name actually. Do we learn his name? Mia's husband?
I I don't
I
think
don't
so.
think so. Okay. And they go to the jazz club, Seb's, and they're doing the exact same thing again. Light spot to Sebastian this time, as they did at the beginning. Real nice way to show the full, um, uh, like real nice full circle storytelling. And then I love that Sebastian starts playing their theme song, and then there is a montage of what would have happened if they stayed together. And I think in that montage, it's like a world where neither of them followed their dreams. I don't think that Mia went to becoming a famous actress. Neither did Sebastian open a jazz club. But they are happy. I see two happy people, and it's an amazing scene. It starts with some weird 3D animated scenery with them being like in a light room with the music, magnificent music once more, and then goes to their lives together. And when it ends with them being at the exact same jazz club that the scene gets imagined, I see two happy people. And it was at that moment that I was like, God, make them be together. But the scene changes. You remember where you are. You remember that you're seeing just Sebastian playing the piano and like Mia being married to another guy. Mia walks out, and there is like a final nod, a final goodbye uh, between them. In that
I
scene, I
think,
think like yeah, sorry, say.
yeah, I think that in the dream, the only one who followed their dream was Mia because they go in Paris. They are in the backstage of a movie, and after that they start their life together. And I think that Mia followed her dream, whereas Seb didn't, and just followed her.
You know what I think? I think that Mia did what she liked. She was an actress, but she didn't have that success that she has into the real world. Like I see like a more snobby, not snobby, uh, like a more high class Mia to the real world. Like she did it, she had a play which was a success, but I think in the real world she's like a world famous actress, much like Emma Stone actually. um, and this is where I think the movie gives like a question to the audience. Like if you could choose between happiness, happiness following your dream and doing what you want to do, and happiness of being with the person you love, which one would you choose? And it doesn't answer herself, and it leaves like an empty painting for the audience to imagine. It's a subtle note. It's an amazing scene. I love that. Guys,
Yeah, I didn't see that, and I just think that it showed that they still love each other in a way, but they have their own lives, and they just need to focus on that. They're happy, probably, but they just need to move on. And the person that moved on the more was Mia because she had a husband, she had a child, she changed her personality a bit. But Seb still lived the same life. He loved music. He stayed in a small house, as we see. In the same house he lived with Mia, and Mia just moved to a mansion in LA.
I would do the same if I had the money, to be honest with you.
Yeah, okay. I wouldn't just throw it away in the mansion in a housekeeper, a valet, and an expensive car.
I
And
don't
all.
think what any of us would use their money is part of the conversation.
Yeah, okay. Neither was Star Wars, but okay.
Star Wars was just move
Yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah. Don't try it again. You will fail.
And to be honest with you, uh, I Goosebumps is a small world because I got emotional at the end of the movie. I followed them. I had problems with the movie in the middle of what I said, like third and fourth act, but the fifth one, it was amazing. It got me and it showed me why the movie is what it is. And this was the part that I said, okay, I forgive you some things from previous moments just because of that amazing ending. That.
Okay, I think throughout the movie was like, good. Not in the start, after a couple of minutes, and I didn't find anything throughout the plot that bothered me that
All
much
right.
as it
I
does.
wanted to point
Yeah.
out another small detail which I liked. the movie does something a little bit weird at the beginning, but I think once you get it, you follow it, and it's really good. It tells it tells what season it is: winter, spring, summer, and fall. And it starts off with winter because winter is when it's like a new beginning because New Year's and all that stuff. And then it goes to spring, which is when things evolve because of nature and flowers, and this is where the relationship evolves. Summer, it's like the season where we all are chilling, we are happy, we are having fun, and it's the peak of the relationship. And then it goes down because it's fall, and fall is like the age of the leaves are falling and things are about to get reborn again. And once the 5 years time jump happens, it says winter again because winter is another new beginning for both of them. That's at least how I read the season stuff, and I like that. I like this interpretation.
Yeah, now that you say it, I think it makes a lot of sense for the movie and their love story.
Also, it says for a season and one season extra because it says 2 times winter. So that's where I think the 5 acts are happening and not 6 acts. Just that combining it with the thing it said at the beginning. So if any of you don't want to say anything else, I think we can say a few things in the technical area, guys.
Yeah, I think
I mean,
we're
let's move
okay. I
on.
don't know.
Okay.
Well,
So acting wise, I don't think there is any honorable mentions beside Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone. For me, they
John
both.
Legend. He
What?
was John Legend.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, the
you're
music
right.
was. He was, to be
He
honest.
has a small part, but he's doing it well. I like him.
Yeah, and when I first saw him, I said, "Oh, he's just gonna sing," and yeah. But then his part was actually really good, and like when he had a talk with Sebastian, that he was telling him like about like that he's a pain on the ass. You remember that scene? I think that
Yeah,
showed that he was really good, even though he played a small part in the movie.
yeah, yeah. I agree with what you said. Yeah, and Ryan Gosling now. First, I think both protagonists make their role amazing. They are really good actors, of course. Ryan Gosling, I'm not a fan of him. I don't think he's. I don't like the Notebook. Let me say that. No hate if you like the Notebook. Sorry. But I think Ryan Gosling is a good actor, and Rachel McAdams is actually a good actress as well. The Notebook is has problems with its scenario. That's a whole other conversation. And I haven't seen many films with Ryan Gosling. Like, he was at Blade Runner, right? Yeah, I think he was at Blade
Yeah, I
Runner.
think yeah.
And Emma Stone, on the other hand, I'm much more familiar with. I like Emma Stone's work. I really like her as Gwen Stacy. I even like her at The Croods, and I hate The Croods. I don't hate them. I just don't think it's a good movie. But I like her there, and I think she was amazing here. She's very expressive. She has tons of ways to show her emotions. She sings well, and I like what she did. I think she deserves the Oscar. I actually can't wait to see what she's gonna do in a few days with Cruella, which I think it's gonna be an interesting role for her because it's way out of her lead. Do you
Yeah,
want to
we'll
mention
see.
anyone else? Any
No, I also think that
any
both of
actor?
them, both of the actors did a really good job, and in general, whoever played in the movie was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I really liked everyone. So yeah, I don't have anything to add.
I said it earlier. I said it. I said it earlier, and I'll say it once more. J.K. Simmons. I love J.K. Simmons. Whatever he does, he's just thrown in there. He doesn't have much of a role. He just appears there. But J. Jonah Jameson, always love him. Now in the technical area more specifically, the movie has a regular aspect ratio 2.39 to 1. Nothing interesting to say here. It's well for the music scenes because they're uncut because it again the musical tributes in the 50s and 60s that the movie does. Uncut musical sequences, it's normal. It's a good aspect ratio to showcase that. I didn't have a problem with it, and I don't think they should have gone with 16 to 9 or something. It's well done, and I also really liked the picture and the colors. The colors of the movie. I don't know what grading they did. I don't know what they did with the costumes. I don't know what in particular was, but at scenes like the when me and her friends walked down the street with four totally opposite colors. It's amazing. And the we mentioned that earlier, a lovely night scene. Again, amazing colors. The entire movie. You can just don't pay attention to the plot and just watch those amazing scenes and this that amazing cinematography. That and I
I
think it
think
deserves the Oscar.
uh, maybe, and for me the best scene, the most beautiful scene was when they were at the observatory and in the
Oh yeah, yeah,
area
yeah, yeah.
where they kind of flew across the galaxy.
Yeah, also. And also the montage, I said it. I really loved that scene. Well,
Yeah.
and the sound. I don't know what they did with the technical things, but it's amazing. The sound. Uh, I'm not even mentioning the music because I said what I think about the music and I think it's amazing. But sound to scenes that they don't have even a score. Just the it's a it's an amazing rendered Dolby Atmos um, track. I used good headphones watching the movie last night, and I liked what I heard. I suggest if you're watching it, don't use like a cheap speaker or something. Use good sound system because even at the horns at the beginning before the music starts, it has such an amazing rendered track. I really like that one. I'm not a particularly huge fan of romantic movies, but I like what they did here. It had like an about time vibe, which about time is the best romantic movie of all time for me personally. And what they did, I really liked it. I really like the music vibe. What I keep from the movie is the cinema tribute. This is what I think stayed with me the most, and what I really loved as a guy that really loves cinema. And the even though I'm not a huge fan of that kind of musical and that way of doing a musical, I enjoyed what they did here, even though I found a little bit of flaws. As I said, with their fighting, and I mentioned them earlier. So my personal rating is 8.5 out of 10.
For me personally, the movie was okay. Wasn't the best thing I've ever seen. The beginning was a letdown for me, as I said, but as it went on, it got a lot better, and I think I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
Give it a 7.5 out of
Personally, I really like the movie. I think it's one of my favorite musicals, maybe behind The Greatest Showman. And so I'll I'll give it a 7.5.
So, for me, the movie is a musical. I'm not a fan of musicals. If I was like completely honest, I would give the movie. No, I was. If I gave the movie a bad rating, I wouldn't be honest because it's a musical. So I will just not consider that, and I will consider it like a bit less than I should. But still, I have to say that I liked the plot. I liked the ending. It was kind of different. Um, so I would give the movie a 6 out of 10. I may be a bit biased here, but yeah, that's my rating. So that makes a total of 36.5 out of 50. Is that the highest rating we've given to a
No,
movie so far?
I think
I don't
37
think so.
might.
Does anyone
I
remember?
think we had one
I
that
think
was
Had
Kung Fu
37. We had
Kung Fu,
40.
Panda.
Fu
37.
Panda was 39, I think.
39. Wasn't 38? No, I'm not sure. Not sure.
It was a bit more.
Somewhere.
Yeah, it could be a bit more.
Yeah,
So that's it for
but
our
it's cool. It's
ratings.
cool. We suggest it. Go watch the movie. Thank you very much for listening to another Movie City podcast episode. If you're listening this on Spotify, follow us here. If you're listening this on YouTube, subscribe and hit that notification bell to be notified when new episodes go public. Don't forget to join our Discord server, as we said at the beginning. It's like our headquarters. You will be able to learn tons of movie and TV show news to our news segment and be able to join special events that we are planning, be able to know what the movie of the week will be way before the actual episodes, discuss the film with other people, and if you're lucky, who knows, maybe you can join us as a guest. You can also follow us on all our Movie City social media that are also in the description down below and our personal ones. We will see you all next time.